All right, Teach Coach Mentor Crowd. I've got a fantastic guest here today, Scott Ferguson, who just had me on his show, the Time to Shine podcast, just a couple of months ago. Episode released recently. It was an amazing experience. You are a much better podcast host than I am,
Wow.
but super excited to have you. He's a Navy guy. We'll forgive him for that. I wore, if you're not watching, you're listening, I wore a Naval Academy shirt in solidarity, but really happy to have you. Thanks for coming on, Scott.
Love it. I love it, man. It's I mean, the Marines are a department of the Navy, but they always say my leathernecks always say, yeah, the men's department, which is
That's
true.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Exactly.
I'm blessed to be here, brother, and you absolutely crushed the mic.
Oh, cool, man. Thank you so much.
I mean, I can tell you right now, you have almost 14,000 downloads, listens, so which is really good. And like it was just what you talked about discipline and growth starting with vision and stuff like that. It just really resonated with my squad of listeners. So thank you so much, brother.
Love it. Yeah, no, it was a great pleasure to be on. And that's what we predominantly talk about, those kind of subjects, topics here on the show.
Yeah.
And, we really we have wide left and right lateral limits, but let's just maybe give people a level set. So I'll read a short bio for you before the episode, so people kind of know who you are. But just tell me a little bit about your background. I know you're in the Navy. What have you been doing since? What drives you? Who are you? Who's Scott Ferguson?
Yeah, man. I was born in '72, so I'm a little bit older dude. I was born during the Vietnam War, born in the Philippines. My dad was a service member, came through, knocked up my mom. He kind of bailed for Vietnam and never saw him, met him. Or anything like that, but I was a mixed breed, so I'm 6'1", go about 240, pretty well put together, and they didn't want a bunch of American bastard children, males, running around in the Philippines at that time, right? Because just the size and, Filipino men are, stature-wise, they're not that big, and they were literally shipping them to Spain because Spain controls the Philippine Islands. So I ended up getting adopted by an American couple who brought me back to the States. The woman who was going to adopt me, her dad died. She goes schizophrenic, so they couldn't raise me, so they dumped me in an orphanage. So the orphanage, I ended up getting adopted by who I call my mother and father now. They were drunks, and again, I love them. They're my best friends in the world, but they were drunks, and my dad was a Vietnam vet. My adoptive father was a Vietnam vet, and they couldn't raise me, so I was passed around from family to family. Found no anything except in sports. I was pretty decent in sports, but my grade point average was like 1.8, no colleges. And my dad's like, listen, dude, you're not going to live here for free. So military was it. So I went in the military in 1990, is right at the start of the Gulf War. And just, that's where I met my family. That's I love my dad. He's my best friend in the world. But family is the military to me. And so when we did my 4-year, actually 5 years, and a couple in reserves, and then just, of course, the Facebook phenomenon kind of circles everybody back, so we're all connected again from even back then. So we all meet up once a year, but the family was found there. But I also realized that I didn't like to punch a clock, like be under somebody else's thumb, which you are in the military. Taught me great motivation, great discipline, but I didn't have that. And I knew that I had what it took to go out in the entrepreneurial mode. And so I started, in the personal training business, trained people. A lot of my clients were real estate investors, and I was staying up late at night saying no money down commercials, and then telling me, hey, you're going to go to jail if you do it that way. So, well, how do you do it? So they ended up taking me under their wing as mentoring me. And then they became my investors. And so started buying up a lot of real estate, lost a lot in 2008, 9, and 10. Just because market.
Did something weird happen those years? What happened?
Yeah, something about a crash and
just a tiny little
overinflating
economic hiccup there. Yeah.
Well, the whole thing was, you got a pulse and your pinky promise you make $250 a year. Oh, here's a mortgage.
Yeah, here's a house. Yeah.
And then at that time, I also lost my little brother to suicide, and I was just kind of in a dark place. And somebody handed me a book when I was at the library called, The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews, and I read it. And Andy's coming on, he's going to be my 500th episode, which comes out in a couple weeks, right?
I love it.
He's a dope guy, Christian comedian, just really awesome dude. And he read the book, and I was like, wait, man, it's about a dude who's loses his job, his daughter's about to die. So he decides to run his car into a tree and take his life. And that way his family's taken care of with insurance money and stuff like that. Well, he wakes up in 1945 and give him Hell Harry Truman's office, day before they're going to drop the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Whoa. Right? And it was talking about the the responsibility that he has got to take during that time. And then he goes in time and meets like Anne Frank to learn about happiness under things. Abraham Lincoln before Gettysburg. He met Joshua Chamberlain, who a lot of people don't know about, but he's the one that held the hill, is one of the critical Civil War wars, battles. And so did that. And then I was like, wait a minute, I can help people. I'm going to stay in the real estate sector, but I can help people. And that's when I launched Time to Shine Today coaching, was 2011.
Yeah.
And like, I could just really like listen to people's stories, and just like my superpower, Mike, is curiosity. So I
Yeah.
love to know about people. Right. And once I stopped consulting them thinking, oh, I know what you should do, and knowing that everybody knows what they want, they just don't know how to talk themselves into it. Right. But if I
Right.
can ask the question, push that spark, and hold them accountable, then we help them bridge that gap. Right. So that's a really fast 4-minute nutshell of how I kind of came through life into the coaching. Now I'm blessed to coach NFL, UFC, NHL, NBA. I'm blessed to coach USA Wrestling. So I'm able to help those, bridge their gap through life, and move themselves to level up into their ultimate human potential. Right. So that's
Yeah.
where I'm at. Short story long, or long story short. One of the two.
I got like a million questions. We'll try to narrow it down.
Yeah,
But
man.
first of all, talk about a tough background. It's like if we were to sit down and work out the metrics of success probability
Hmm?
at the start of your life, it'd look pretty grim, right? Um,
Yeah. The thing is, I never felt that way because I had
yeah,
a chip, man. I'm going to make this. I'm going to show everybody. But
yeah,
then that gets you somewhere.
yeah,
But
yeah.
then if you're doing it for that and
That's right.
not
Yeah, that's
deserve,
not a
yeah.
strategy for long-term success for
Right.
sure.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah. Let's go. I want to go back to that a little bit, and then I want
Hmm?
to fast forward to the book
Yeah.
that you mentioned because it sounds fascinating. But you're going through school. You got a 1.8 GPA,
Yeah.
right? You're pretty
Yep.
good at sports. You're
Yep.
obviously a smart guy, right?
Yes,
So
sir. I do pretty well on the intellect side.
I want
Yeah.
to go back and interrogate your younger self a little bit at
Yeah.
16 because we've got a lot of military folks on the show and they're going to want to hear about your coaching and your time in the Navy, and I want to talk about that. But I also have a lot of students that listen too,
Yeah.
and so I want to get into this a little bit. You're 16, 17-year-old Scott.
Mhm.
What's going on? What's going on there? Like, is it a lack of interest? Is it a lack of coaching and mentorship for someone to take you under their wing and show you what's important? Like, what was up? Or is it just school not your thing at the time,
Yeah.
and it just took a while to kind of grow into it?
A victim mindset was some of it. We're like, dude,
Okay.
my dad doesn't really care. You worked on the line at General Motors, total blue collar guy. Love him, hard worker. But I just thought, this is what I'm supposed to be. I'm
Mm,
good at sports, but I know that there's a path in life. I just am going to find it a lot differently than a
yeah.
lot of other people did, because I went through the stuff that held me back when I was younger, but I always knew that there was a path. I just had to find it.
Yeah.
And a lot of kids, what they'll do is they'll play the blame game, and they'll stay there. For some reason, it was built in me to be like, dude, this isn't just it. And I had friends that were like Fergie, let's just keep going, keep going, keep going, because they knew
Yeah.
my drive and my work ethic,
Yeah.
right? Just on the field, or on the wrestling mats mainly.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so that's just kind of what it was, Mike. Where I
Yeah.
just kind of knew it, but I didn't know the path.
That's
That
kind of
was all.
interesting because you also said, at least in one of your focuses in your coaching, is that people know what they want. They just, how did you phrase it? That they need you need to convince them to believe it. Is that
Yeah, everyone knows what they want. They just don't know how to talk themselves into
they
it.
just don't know how to talk themselves into it. So you
Right.
seem to be, as a kiddo, trapped right into this, your words, victim mentality, where this is what I'm supposed to be. This is who I am. So like, number one, you need someone to step in and provide that path forward to just
Yep.
see that it's possible. Right.
Sure.
And then
Yes,
number
sir.
two, they have to get you to talk yourself into it, which is, I think if Scott Ferguson now went back in time to talk to 17-year-old, I bet you could do that for him. Right.
But yeah, and that one part of my pro bono part of my business
Yeah.
is that I go to schools
Awesome.
right now. It's
Love it.
part of my giving back,
Yeah.
and I have awesome conversations with these kids that are our future. Because I'm going to tell you right now, with the way things go in this world, I'm very scared for our future. Because again, I'm pushing mid 50s right now, And I'm kind of like in that silverback time of my life where people come to me for that advice. They come to me for a lot of stuff. But I know that I'm going to grow out of that and just be an old man. No one's going to come to me. What do you know, right? Which is fine with
Right.
me. But by that time, I'll be comfortable and I'll still give. It'll just be from another angle. But so right now, I'm just in that time where I'm able to help these kids understand that there's always a path,
Yeah.
always. And like when I sit down and have that hour of power with them, the ones that ask of it of me, it's just asking questions. Once they realize, dude, I'm not going to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
I tried that early in my coaching career. Like I could be coaching you and you go and do it, or not coaching, but consulting you, and you go and do that. And you're like, Ferg, you're an idiot, dude. Like, what are you talking about? This didn't work. But if you come up with it,
Right.
you're more apt to see it through. So having these kids and just being able to talk to them and just listen to them and then building a plan with them and then just holding them accountable, bro. There's
Yeah.
nothing better than to see these kids just ramp up.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's
That's great.
out.
It's interesting. The book that you mentioned, I'm gonna have to check that book out.
Yeah,
I love the whole entire concept of it. It's almost like, what's the Ebenezer Scrooge
yeah,
Christmas
right.
Carol?
And it's funny you
Uh,
say that because he does go forward and meets the angel Gabriel. I'm not spoiling anything for you,
yeah,
but
yeah,
what's
yeah, yeah.
written's written, right?
Yeah.
And
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Gabriel's like, "You want to see this?" He's like, "No, dude, I'm going to go write my thing."
Yeah.
The biggest thing I took away from it, a lot of these kids out there that I noticed, is about responsibility. Like my
Yeah.
definition of responsibility is the ability to respond. It's rooted right in the word, right?
Mm,
So if they're able to respond to any situation that they're ever in the right way and not treat it as a victim or make excuses, they make adjustments because that's what winners do. They'll make it in life. I mean,
yeah.
it's just impossible not to make it. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. No, I love the idea of that, where you're exploring kind of, in this case, through historical, real historical events or real historical
yeah,
characters.
Andy's awesome. I'm so stoked to bring him on for my
Yeah.
500th, man.
Oh, I
It's
can't
just
wait
it's
to
gonna be
listen to
awesome.
that
Yeah,
episode. I'm super excited about it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let's fast forward a little bit here to, you do some time in the Navy. Obviously, you went through a really rough period in your life, but on the back end of that, as you're building time to shine coaching and all of that,
Mhm.
uh, how much did you rely on your military, background for your program, your framework? How
Mhm.
much had you learned just in life since then?
Mhm.
How much of it came from when you were a kid? Like, how did you amalgamated this incredible approach
Yep.
to, right, coaching and mindset that has helped, right, Philadelphia Eagles
Yeah.
and high school students alike. So how does that come about, and what from your life, had the biggest impact on how you developed it?
A bajillion% the military.
Okay. Yeah.
Because
Yeah. That's
it
great.
was just the format that they had laid out where like you show up when they tell you to show up. And if you wanted to make rank, you needed to put in the reps, right? So it's like, hey, make rank, make a little bit more money. It's not like you're overly paid, right? But you still
Right.
want it. You want the respect from people. So you just, hey, the reps got to be done,
Yeah.
right? And that's the military 100% prepared me for anything in life. I still lean on a lot of the stuff now.
Yeah.
How is it that I can remember my commanders' names, my, lieutenants' names and people that I worked for? Because
Yeah.
they had such an effect on me, right? My reticular activating system goes back there a lot, right? And to pull from, because I'm a big believer that, a lot of people live in the past, but I think that if you borrow from the past what worked for you and pull it
Yeah.
forward, it will continue to work.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the military 100%, Mike.
That's great. It's really funny. I talk to folks about the military, and maybe you get this reaction sometimes where it's, oh, it must be really difficult and it must be really hard, and the rules and the structure. And the thing that I try to convince people of is that structure gives you freedom. It actually isn't restraining at all, right?
Yes.
So we talk
Yes.
about this. The easiest analogy is the context of sports, which is that you cannot have a sport without the rules.
Right.
You
Yeah.
can't, right? You can't block, right? Or say in football, just as an example, right? There's a difference between holding and blocking, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
But having that rule there allows you to block freely and completely, right? And every step of the way, having the rules gives you the structure to play the game. And without
Right.
that structure, you cannot play the game. And
Right.
what I love about the military specifically, it's an enormous amount of structure, which to, I think, outsiders can seem overbearing. And frankly, even on the inside, sometimes, it can be challenging. But it also gives you the complete and absolute freedom to be yourself.
Yes,
which
sir.
sounds weird, right? You go through this system where you're put in the same clothes and you're given the same haircut and you're treated the
Yep.
same way, which is mostly like crap for a little while,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you think, how does that have anything? That's all uniform. It's literally in the name uniform, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's the same. You lose
Right.
all individuality.
Right.
And yet it also gives you complete freedom to be exactly who you are.
Yeah.
So just as a quick example, this one's tough. So in the Marine Corps, we're kind of strict about our rules, right?
Right.
And I'll throw my Navy brethren under the bus just a tiny bit.
Sure.
So we're the strictest. So you replace Navy with any
Without
other
a
service.
doubt. Without a
Yeah,
doubt.
but an example is walking around and being on your phone. So a few years ago, the Navy changed the rules where you're allowed to walk and talk on your phone, but you couldn't walk and text. Okay.
Okay.
And for the Marines, it's all a no-no, right? We're not allowed
Right.
to have any of that. Okay. And the issue is when culture starts to seep in, right? So it became in the kind of the Navy culture that you didn't say anything if people were walking and texting, right?
Right. Right.
And so that one always bothered me, right? If I was around Navy folks, I would make the correction. And it was
Sure.
always uncomfortable because it was kind of in their culture to do it a little bit,
Right. Right.
you know? And here was my problem. I'm trying to set up this whole framework here, not to crap on the Navy at all.
No.
But
No.
it's this, that when the rule isn't clear, right? Because you kind of have the written rule that says don't do it, but the cultural rule that says it's okay. When
Right.
it's not clear, you can't be who you're supposed to be.
Right.
If it's an obvious rule and we all follow it, then me making the correction is not just okay, like it's expected. We all go, hey,
100%.
you're
Yeah.
killing it, man. Like this is exactly what we should be doing right now. You're absolutely
Right.
right. But when the rule isn't so clear and it's a little bit ambiguous, then it's like it gets very difficult to behave in that environment because you don't know how to act. You don't know who you are in that moment.
Right.
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 So I know
Right.
that's kind of a strange example to give, but I see
No, I
this
love it. 100%.
in the real
yeah.
world all the time, right? There's these, there's laws and then there's cultural rules and there's kind of gray areas in a lot of things.
Right.
And if there's too much gray area, people don't know how to behave and then they can't fully be themselves because they're worried about, is someone going to think I'm an a-hole? You know what I mean? Or
Right.
like, is this okay? But when the rules are clear, everybody gets to be exactly who they are. I don't know if
Sure.
that lands with you at all, but
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's like I 100% agree that the standards that the Marines hold themselves to was way higher, and I was blessed because of what I did, which I won't go into. But what I did in the military, a lot of my partners were Marines, so
Yeah.
a lot of that rubbed off on me.
yeah.
So I did a lot of, we'll just say, missions, if you want to call it that, with the Leathernecks, with going out there. So a lot of that rubbed off on me, but 100%, it was a lot more lax, excuse me, from the Navy side.
Right,
But I
right.
love that the people that have the balls, if you will, to correct somebody, you're not correcting them because you want to be, some people will, a jerk about it. But if you're correcting them to say, hey, listen, this is what works, this is what needs to happen, then the people should fall in line. But I also understand that a lot of the people go into the military as a reason to not go to jail, as a
Yeah.
reason because they have no other part of it. But it's just it's uniform for a reason, like you said,
Yeah.
and there are rules to be followed, and the corrections need to be made. And I have to have it with my team. I'm pretty laid back, but when Fergie goes into that mode, then they
Right.
know, hey, okay, there's going to be some correction coming. So it's
Yeah.
got to happen, 100%.
Yeah, love it. So let's chat a little bit more about coaching because
Sure.
I've talked to a lot of military folks who are interested in coaching. Essentially they want to do what you're doing, right?
Right.
I've met a lot of military folks who are getting out that are interested in entrepreneurship. And I think the reason I'm meeting more is because I dipped my toes in entrepreneurship about 6 months ago, right?
Right.
As we discussed on your show, and have been lucky enough to find some success in that endeavor, at least thus far. We all know that the roadblocks are coming in that space. But anyway, so they're reaching out, and I think this is kind of the complaint. You get some military folks, and they say, "Hey, I don't really want a 9 to 5. I want to do this entrepreneurship thing." Number one, it's really scary. Because a 9 to 5 is pretty set. I find a job. If it sounds good enough, I take that job. I follow everything's in place for me now, right?
Right.
Entrepreneurship's very scary. And it's very scary because the number of possibilities are huge. And anytime there are a lot of possibilities, we have even if they're all good possibilities, we as human beings psychologically have a very difficult time handling a lot of possibilities and certainly a lot of unknown, right?
Right.
So they're going into this space and they're thinking, well, I've never sold anything, right? I'm not a salesman, right? I don't know how corporate structures work, right?
Mhm.
I've never worked for I've not been in a pro profit or profit motive environment before, right? No
Mhm.
worries. Um, and now I want to turn around and I want to coach someone on how to do all of this,
Sure.
right?
Right.
And yet, here's the paradox. Lots of military folks are doing this and doing it with great success, right?
Hmm. Right.
So like explain that disconnect for me where, because you've got some folks that are really crushing it like yourself. And then on the other side is like, well, what about all these skills gaps, coming direct from the military? How do you bridge that? How do you square that?
Yeah, it's okay. A lot of people are going to go, they're going to get out of the military and they're going to possibly look into coaching, right?
Yeah.
And which is great. I mean, the world will never have enough coaches. If they're coaching, if you're trying to consult, people are going to look at you like, what do you even know? Right?
Yeah.
That's the thing which we talked about a little bit earlier. Now, if you're going to get into that world, you have an everyday resume, man. Like you've
Yep.
got to add to that resume every day. And it's got to be whether you're going to learn something on your own, take classes, whatever. That resume's got to be built every single day.
Invest in
Now,
yourself. Yeah.
right. Now you're going to run into imposter syndrome 100%. I have been speaking for 8 years now. I'm blessed to have Angela, my agent. She has me wheels up 30 plus times a year speaking to around the country. Right. And sometimes I'll get out there and I'll look out there and there's CEOs, CFOs, whatnot, and each one of them can spank me with their wallet. And, so
Right.
it's like,
Yeah.
whoa. Now, what people do is they try to attach their confidence to their abilities,
Hmm.
right? My abilities, I'm like, dude, wait a minute, I don't make as much as them. Oh my gosh, like they forgot more about business than I'll ever know, this and that. But you take yourself to the side or have an accountability partner or somebody out there that's gonna be like, why are you doing this? What is what do you want to happen out of here? And I always say just one person walk away leaning into their ultimate human potential. One person. That is my intention. So if you're listening out there, no matter where you are in life and what you do, but especially if you're getting in coaching, your intentions need to be attached to your confidence. The second your intentions are attached to your confidence, the sky's the limit. If you keep attaching your capabilities to your confidence, you'll always stall. You'll always have imposter syndrome. Bottom line.
Love
So if
that.
you're wanting to do this, everyday resume, baby, you got to do something every single day to level up. Every
Everything
day.
that I don't like to title the episode until we've had it, and I think everyday resume might be the title. That's great. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. Well, we got a few minutes left here, so
Yeah.
I know I said I wasn't gonna do rapid fire. We talked before the show, but I changed my mind. I want to do a couple rapid fire questions. Nothing crazy.
Yes, sir.
And then I'm gonna hit you with my last question of the day, which I always like to ask my guests. So no,
Yep.
the first is, give me a value that is irreplaceable in your life.
A value that's irreplaceable in Fergie's life is if it is a value, but service is everything to me. Like that's like I serve. I find a way every single day to serve. It's a value that it will never go away.
Yeah. Number two, what is your vision for the future for yourself 10, 15, 20 years from now?
You know what? I'll never stop. So it's like I'll probably just be adding on, and really, I'm a big believer in a lot of mentoring, a ton of mentoring. I believe the more you mentor, the more immortal you become, right? So if you're going to leave something behind, you have kids and all that other stuff. But if I want to leave something behind on my professional side and my life side, then I'm just going to continue to mentor, 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 mentor.
Love it. Give me a habit that you have every day that's changed your life.
Um, wow, changed my life. Um, I've over 1,000 days straight of a mile every morning, and that can be proven on Strava. If you go to Strava, the app, you'll see I have a
Yeah,
mile for over 1,000 days. So it's something like right now I talked to you off the camera. I'm dealing with an infection. I still do my mile. It's
love it.
there. It's done.
Yeah, that's great. Book recommendation that you haven't already mentioned.
Let's go with the Go Giver, Bob Berg. I'm blessed to have him as a neighbor here in Jupiter, Florida. Hey, Bob, if you're listening, I would really love you to write the forward to my book. Um, but no, like he's the book is awesome. It's I'm really into business parables, right? And it's another one where someone needs a land this huge account, and he meets 5 people that walks him through how to do it the right
Love
way.
it. That's cool. Okay, good. Last question. This is not a rapid fire. Take your time on this one, which is the thing that I don't want to end up in my life. I don't want to be on my deathbed looking back and having big regrets. And we're gonna make mistakes in our life. There's
Sure.
no way around that. But
Yeah.
so the question that I like to ask, that I ask everyone to ponder, is you're on your deathbed and you're looking back. What's the one thing you really don't want to have messed up?
I never want, like my mentor told me back in the day, don't take life too seriously. We're not making it out alive. Right. So one, it's like, have fun in my life. Did I have fun? Check.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Every freaking day, bro. I have fun no matter what, with my team, with my lady, with you, rapping, shooting texts back and forth, encouraging each other.
Yeah.
But mainly, excuse me, to be useful. Was I useful? I look back and be like, was I useful? People ask me my why. To be useful. 100% that's it, because useful can work over different platforms.
Yeah.
Was I useful as a coach? Was I useful as a husband? Was I useful as a friend? Was I useful as a teammate? Just be useful.
Yeah.
That's the
Well, I
huge
can tell you, you've been useful to me, and I appreciate you, man. It's
appreciate you,
been
Mike.
first of all, huge shout out to Shay, who
Sure, Sparks.
hooked us up. Yeah, Shay Sparks. And getting to know you has been awesome. That's what I love about the military community. It's your brothers for life, even if you served in different decades and in different services. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm blessed to know you, man. It's like, it's fun. I love we've only known each other probably 4 or 5 months, but just the text that we fire back and forth to each other, and just be like, yeah, it's because I'm a believe that you'll never exceed farther than your inner circle. So the cooler and, the driven inner circle gets you anywhere. So if your kid's out there and listening, your inner circle is everything.
Yeah, 100%.
Everything.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, hey, man, thanks so much for coming on the show. I hope you had a good time.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you, brother. Love you, dude.
All right. See you soon.